Welcome everyone to the Tears Take. I'm Tierney and I upload weekly reality recaps. If you love the Real Housewives and all of their antics, then this is the channel for you. But let me give you a caveat because today I'm recapping the Real Housewives of Atlanta season 16, episode 9. It's called Blame It on the Henny. The reason why I have to give you a caveat is because I don't know how much longer I'm recapping this season, okay? I'm not feeling it. Phaedra's coming in a few weeks. I don't get down with her. I loved her on Traitors. I'm not going to lie, but it's a little triggering for me to see her back on Real Housewives of Atlanta. And I am not feeling this season. So I may be switching from Housewives for the rest of this month and focusing on some different shows. Maybe I'll recap some prior Traitors seasons. I don't know how I'm going to fill the content calendar, but unless there is some miracle from God or some sign above that says this is the path, I don't know how much longer I'm recapping this season. I'm just being honest. However, that is why we are here today. And then next month, Miami's coming back and I will be seated for that. So if I do take a break from Atlanta and you're not feeling that, but you are here for Miami, then come on back. Meet me back in June, but I promise whatever I do is going to be fab. So let's get into the episode. Child, it's probably going to be quick because not much had happened. So in the beginning of the episode, it's really like chopped and screwed. Basically, Cynthia is saying, you know, I went to sleep early on the Nashville trip and the last night just went really crazy. I don't know what happened. And so I'm going to meet with each of the ladies and just, you know, figure out what happened and get the update. Let me just say this. I believe Cynthia said this in her podcast that because Kenya left, they pretty much, you know, expanded Cynthia's role. We know Cynthia is a friend of, but we also know that she's been a housewife for years. And so she knows the game and she knows how to keep story moving. And I appreciate the work she's doing. Since they expanded her role, I hope they expanded that paycheck for her. Let's just say that because she's throwing, you know, her annual Bailey Q. Apparently that was a production setup because they were like, oh, we need to get the girls together. These dry girls ain't doing nothing else, so we gotta like do something. And apparently that was a production driven event, which we can kind of tell because it was, we'll get to it. So anyways, I just hope they took care of Cynthia because she's putting more work in than some full-time housewives, Porsha. So, okay. Anyway, so she's meeting with each of the ladies. I'm going to just summarize what they said. Basically, she meets up with Porsha and they talk about, you know, hey, I heard, you know, what you allegedly said about Charles. And here goes Porsha. I don't remember. I didn't see that. It's like, Porsha, you're 40? What is she, 43? 42? It's no longer cute. You know, I drink too much and I don't remember. Over the age of 25, what? So basically, Porsha doesn't remember. Then Cynthia meets with Shamea and Kelly. And there might have been someone else there. I don't remember. But Shamea was like, oh, I reached out to Angela and she sent me this long text and basically just reading her down, basically saying, our morals don't align, sis. Like, you're supposed to be a married woman. You're supposed to have my back. Don't come up smiling in my face when the night before you're sitting there laughing with someone saying that they're going to sleep with my husband. So like, we cool, but we ain't that cool. So back the hell up. Like, that was pretty much the tone of the text. And Shamea was like, oh my God, I can't believe she sent me this text. And it's like, what do you mean? I don't know. Shamea really clicked down for me in this episode. I was really trying to root for her and I was trying to view her as her own singular person, but it's becoming more and more apparent like why her and Porsha have been friends for so long, because birds of a feather flock together. I'm just saying. And Shamea, you got a few little tendencies about yourself because Portia's a damn liar, but you also twist things. We saw how you twisted that Angela Kelly Drew story. We see you laughing with Porsha and, thinking like that behavior is cute and enabling that BS. We'll talk later on about her sit down with Angela and how that went. So there wasn't really anything. There was one redeeming scene. We'll talk about that. Other than that, I was like, Shamea, you lost major points with me. And now I'm kind of just putting you in Porsha's category and you just have a better veneer about you and you're just a little bit smarter than Porsha and you can string better sentences together. But I think deep down underneath, you probably have more in common with Porsha than I was willing to see. So there's that. Then we see Cynthia telling all the ladies that she's having her annual Bailey Q and it's going to be on Juneteenth and she wants them to wear Juneteenth colors and come and fellowship and, basically get the mess started. Like, who are we kidding? So, it was really teeing up for that event. So then next we see Kelly hosting a birthday party for her dog. Kudos to Kelly. She's definitely hosting events, stepping up. I don't know. I'm not into like the foo-foo dog parties, but I do like the glamour of it all. Like if you have that money, go ahead. And I saw that she's getting sued though for like back rent or something. I don't know. I'm just saying what I saw. But if you have the money, go for it. Spend it how you want. Just not my thing. Brit comes to the dog party. She talks to Kelly and she basically is trying to scrounge up some type of storyline now that her storyline Kenya is not there anymore and that Angela wraps her up every time she sees her. So she's like, oh, my mom's moving in and ever since, the issue with Kenya, my sisters have been just so supportive and coming around more and, things are just going so well with my family. And I'm like, a crappy family is your storyline? Okay. By the way, Kelly's ponytail was everything. I told y'all I love big hair. I love the big curly. I had a similar ponytail. It was shorter, but it had like the same vibe. It was like that ponytail's little sister, and I miss that ponytail. I haven't come across one like her since. I miss it. So then we see Porsha meet up with her mom and Lauren, and I take everything back. I don't know why I have good memories of Lauren. Maybe because I followed her on Instagram for a while and I almost bought into like the Zen yoga higher vibrating girl. I think she has more in common with Porsha than I think I was willing to see. Lauren can go. I don't need to see her no more. But basically her mom and Lauren were doing what they do best and it's enabling Portia's BS. And it's sitting there smiling and nodding and, oh my God, and reacting to the lies. So basically, as she's talking about the Nashville trip, she brings up, it was just so hard to enjoy myself because I heard that Dennis filmed with Drew. And here goes the mom. Oh, I can't even defend Dennis anymore. Why are you defending someone who cheated on your daughter? So then, of course, the Angela situation comes up from the last night and she plays down the situation entirely. She didn't cop to anything. It's, I don't remember. I don't know. I didn't say. Who knows? Maybe I said this. Someone called her Big Bird, but I don't know. Oh, wait, no, I called her Big Bird. Like, just stupid. Again, you're 45. Big Bird, that's your go-to. Good job, Porsha. Ugh. So then her family's just sitting there giggling and and Lauren's like, I'm gonna give you a pass. You're going through a divorce. You have a year and a half. You have a year and a half, and you can just do what you want. I spent too much time on them. Moving on. So then we get to Shamea's redeeming scene, and she is at the surrogacy clinic. She meets up with her past surrogate, Shadina, and meets a potential surrogate because we know that Shamea and her husband want to have a boy. And so They meet Asha. So they meet Asha and they're just basically just vibing, seeing if we, can get along, if the vibes are good. She FaceTimed her husband and, they just really want to start meeting, seeing if they are aligned before they, start the process. And so again, I do appreciate her sharing something real, taking us on this journey, showing us a different path to motherhood and parenthood. And I appreciate that. So I will give her credit for that. But everything else, Miss Shamea, So then we see Angela. She's working out with Charles. And so basically, Angela is telling Charles about, the Nashville trip and, why she invited Drew and how she got along with the girls. And everything that she's saying, Charles was just like, well, I wouldn't have did that. Why'd you do that? Yeah, I can see why they were mad. And like, bro, she played it off like, oh, he's always just devil's advocate. If I want to know what a hater thinks, I just got to ask my husband. Listen, there's a time for constructive feedback and help me figure out where my blind spot is in this situation because I'm really thinking this, but it totally went left. Like, I'm here for a productive conversation in that way. But if I'm telling you a story about me not getting along with someone, oh no, your first inclination bet not be to play devil's advocate. You better be riding for me so hard. And then she did what? And then you did what? Oh no. She disrespected you. I'm going to need you to do that first. I need that first. And then we could talk about, well, maybe you handled it wrong, or maybe you could have said it this way. Then we could talk. But every little thing she said, it was just like, well, I don't know. Well, and I was just like, ugh. So basically Angela was like, oh, okay, well, sounds like you're on Porsha's side. Well, buckle up because, let me tell you what she said. She basically said that you are so easy to F and, she can F you if she wants. And Charles's response was interesting. I'm going to need you to be more emphatic in saying, I don't know her. She's lying. I don't want her. I only want you. I'm not cheating. I don't cheat. I won't cheat. I've never cheated. I will never. Like, I'm going to need something. And it could be his personality. So, like, I know not every man is rah-rah or anything like that. But, he was just kind of like, oh, like, do you believe it? Do you? And I'm like, sir, I'm gonna need a little more. I'm gonna need a little more. Like, it can be, do you believe it because it's not true? Do you believe it because I don't want that girl? Do you believe it because I got a queen in front of me? We can go right now. That's what I need to hear, Charles. He was playing a little too cool for me, and I'm like, I don't know, Charles. I don't know. So basically, he has faith in his wife to handle that situation with Porsha. And he was like, honestly, I just want a front row seat. I love that they're both about it. My husband told me about you, Charles. So I know y'all both about that life. And so I'm here for it. Okay, so then we see a quick scene. Portia's getting an au pair for Miss Pilar. She's so cute. Not a whole lot in this scene, except that during the confessional, Dennis pops in and Portia's like, what are you doing here? And I'm like, oh, that's why you didn't want him to film with Drew. You ain't got nothing going on. So you need him as part of your storyline to have something to film because it's a little dry over there, Miss Williams. So she's up here, telling him, I didn't appreciate you filming with Drew. Dennis says, oh, I didn't even know we were filming. I just walked in and there was a camera. I'm like, oh, God. So then at one point, Dennis says that Drew is no longer assigned to him. And then Porsha was like, yeah, you said that she tried to F you. She tried to sleep with you. And Dennis is like, wait, what? He's kind of thrown off. And then Porsha pulls up a text and there wasn't really anything on there. That girl lies, y'all. She got a problem. She really got a problem. And she's like, no, you said it. You said it here. But there really wasn't like anything solid proof. So it's like, I don't know, your receipts are a little shaky. Because otherwise they would have shown the text on the screen. And I don't think they did that. So let me know if I missed something. But usually if it was something so damning, they would have blown up, production would have blown up those texts, and Porsha would have been happy to give those to production. Then Porsha quickly says, well, I'm over it. I'm over it. Like, I don't even care. Girl, it is season, what is it, episode 9? And you've been saying this since episode 2, that you're over it, you don't care. You're not. You're not. So, like, we'll see. But it's going to drag on, and no one cares. Everything I see about this Porsha Drew fiasco, everyone's like, okay, wrap it up. Wrap it up. I don't know who is running this show. They should have talked episode 3. They should have had a sit down. They should have been forced to sit down, talk it out, and be done. Why are we talking about this episode 9, and they haven't even talked in 4 episodes? So then there is a scene of Brit and her sister packing up her mom's house because her mom's getting ready to move in with her. We can move on past there because I do not watch Brit scenes. So then we get to the Bailey queue, and Cynthia keeps saying that she has a prophet coming, and I wish she brought Mbele. We need, if we're gonna do a prophet, a psychic, a medium, bring my girl Mbele back, because that scene of the elephant room lives rent free in my head. I think about it probably twice a week. Like, I probably watch it. I probably actively pull it up on YouTube probably every other month. Like, I love that scene. It was so funny, and they should have Mbele. Justice for Mbele. Bring her back, because she did her thing just in that scene. So the prophet starts reading off of everyone's energy and just letting them know things that they should think about, consider, like, be concerned about, whatever. So she basically says something to Brit. I don't remember what she said verbatim, but it had something to do with maybe like a new venture or something. And Brit's like, oh, well, I am working on my shapewear and loungewear line. It's going to be called, what's it called? It's going to be called Bare and Naked. And I'm like, this is giving Tipsy Girl all over again. But okay, shout out to my New York fans. So then when the prophet goes to hug Angela, she like hits a glass, like something falls. And then here goes Brit. Oh yeah, she senses Angela's energy. Brit. Brit, I'm gonna hold your hand when I say this, Brit. You and Angela squashed your imaginary one-sided beef last episode. She apologized. You were cool. You need to sit down and talk to someone. Instead of putting your time and money in bare naked or go naked, whatever, you need to go to a therapist. Quick, fast, and in a hurry, because you don't remember that you're making up with people. You have these one-sided imaginary beefs. You're weird. You're a weirdo. Bro, So she's over there just like, Angela. So then the prophet tells Angela, you need to pretty much like get the spark back in your marriage. She didn't say that exactly, but she basically said like, you're getting too comfortable, you're getting too content, go on a vacation, spice things up. It's easy to kind of fall into a routine. But you just gotta like keep making it spicy. And then the prophet also asked, like, does he have his eye on something? Like, does he have a Porsche? Is there like a Porsche? And here goes Angela, and then here goes Shamea. I mean, I'm just going to say it. Like, is it Porsha? Is it Porsha? Shamea? Okay, that was kind of funny. It was kind of funny, but Shamea, shut up. Please, just shut up. And let me just say, Angela looks really good. Angela looks great. Porsha's hair, like I said, it's always laid. That looked great. Yeah, that's all I got. Oh, and Drew looked really pretty in her blonde. But Drew, honey, you are giving friend of energy. Every time you come onto a scene, I'm like, oh, Drew. And it's like, wait, Porsha was literally just talking about you 2 scenes ago, and I still forgot about you, Drew. That's not good. So we might be seeing a cash change because you're not giving much, Drew. That's okay. And I don't think Drew is really into it that much. I don't think she cares if she gets demoted or fired. You know? I think she's going through a real divorce. She has 3 kids she's worried about. The show honestly may not just be a priority right now, and that's completely understandable. So I'm not going to be surprised if I see her demoted or fired. I'd rather her take a year or 2 off and come back with some great story and some oomph in her and like ready to play, ready to get messy, than just keep falling by the wayside. So as I said, the whole time Brit's in the corner snickering and scowling about Angela. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to see that she has a problem. So Angela asked Brit, like a grown woman, like I that's what I love about Angela. She is confrontational. But in a good way, not in a combative, weird way like Brit. But she's like, hey, I see this. I'm going to call it out. I'm going to speak on it. I'm going to ask about it. I heard you say this. Let me ask you directly. I like that about Angela. So she sees Brit acting all crazy in the corner. So she was just like, hey, I'm sensing some bad energy, some tension. Like, what's up? You good? Are we good? And then here goes Brit. Oh, the prophet was spot on. And Angela's like, about what? And she's like, do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? And Brit's like, you need to use your mouth more in your marriage. You need... Oh my God. She's so low vibrational. Like, get off this show, Brit. Just get off. And she's like, you need to use your mouth more. And Angela's like, I don't want to use it as much as you because you got stretch marks. So then Brit stands up because, here she go, Miss Pistol Whip or whatever. And Angela was like, you got miles on your mouth. You're a whore. I was like, whoop. So Drew walks away and she was like, I just need to protect my peace. And someone brought up the good point of like, how Angela was going so hard for Drew in Nashville. And not that Angela needed backup in this moment, but it still would have been nice to have Drew there because it is looking a little imbalanced right now. It is looking a little like Garcelle and Sutton. So Drew, I'm going to need you to be there for your friend. Okay. I don't want to put you in the Sutton category. Be there for your friend as much as she's there for you. Okay. So then, like, as they're going back and forth, Brit brings up Angela's, about, Charles's side baby, because like that's been in the blogs and like replayed, from old Wendy Williams, episodes and things like that. And Angela's like, show me a receipt. Angela has said in a few interviews, like, she's going to talk more about it this season and things are going to get cleared up. I hope that's true because so far it hasn't been all the way clear. So we'll see. I'm not that pressed. It's not a surprise that an NBA player cheated on his wife. So if she stayed, fine. That's not me. I wouldn't. But if she stayed, fine. That's not earth-shattering news, So then they take a break and they're cutting to just show the different elements of the party, all the food. All that food looks so good. Ooh, I love me some food. So then Cynthia pulls Angela and Porsha aside to sit down, and basically Angela asks Porsha, like, what was that? Like, what was that last night? And here goes Porsha. Instead of being a grown woman, you were in a room, Angela wasn't acting for an audience. It wasn't, accusatory. It was very much a grown woman. Hey, what was that about? What happened? Let's talk about it. Here goes Porsha. Okay, so it was a after party. We were having a kiki, and so basically she was like just dismissing it, acting like it was just all fun, girl. We were just joking. We were just dancing. We were just like, Oh my God. So, she never said anything like, she never copped to it. It was just like, we were just having fun. It was just, it was a whole lot of this, right? They basically fake apologize. Oh, and then she tries to turn it on Angela saying, well, you said something about my husband. And I'm like, what did she say? And then I'm like, well, is it that she repeated what Kelly said about you stealing your husband? I don't know. I guess it was that. And so she's like, you said something about my husband. So are you going to apologize? I probably would have punched her in the face right then and there. I would have, But grown woman Angela, she was like, okay, I'm sorry if I offended you. I'm sorry. I forget how she said it, but she basically apologized for speaking on Porsha's husband. And then here goes Porsha. Okay, ditto. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. I know these shows are make up to break up and apologize and move on. There are some things we are not moving on from. We're not moving from you saying that you can F my husband, you're going to steal my husband, F my husband. We're not moving on from that. We're not moving on if you disrespect my kids in any way or like my mother or something like that. Like there are certain things we're not moving. We got beef forever. At least that's how I roll. But whatever. They apologize. They hug. They're squashed for now. And then Shamea comes in to talk to Angela, or maybe, what's her name? Cynthia brings in Shamea. Cynthia was working this episode. I hope they gave her a bonus. So then Shamea was like, I'm just disappointed in the text. And, I just wanted to like talk about that. And Angela was like, girl, you sat up here and kikied while someone was saying that they were going to sleep with my husband. And you're a married woman. So like, that's not a good look on you. And you're just looking really fake to sit up there and laugh about that. And then come in my face the next day smiling and grinning. No. And here goes Shamea. Oh, well, she just dismissed it. That's just how I am. I like to laugh. I like to have fun. It was just all this, just like Porsha, just like her BFF. And I was just like, you're clicking down, girl. You're showing me a little Porsha Jr. And so I think they just left it as it is. I don't think they fully squashed it, but they were just kind of like, all right, we're not getting anywhere. So cool that mine has. But yeah, I appreciate you watching. Please like the video. Please watch my other videos, and I will talk to you guys later. Thank you so much, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.